Thank you for joining us. I'm Assistant Chief of Patrol Services South, Lachey Makel. We're here today to announce an arrest in a homicide case that claimed the lives of 2 men and injured an additional 2 victims, one of which was a 2-year-old child. Today's news is a testament to the diligence and tenacity of our homicide detectives, who spent the last 3.5 months pouring through evidence, working leads, and following up on community tips. All that effort paid off this morning, and for more information on the case, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Captain Jeffrey Wade of the Criminal Investigation Division.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Captain Jeffrey Wade of the Criminal Investigations Division, Homicide Branch. On Thursday, July 18th, at approximately 11:20 a.m., 7th District officers responded to the sound of gunshots near the intersection of 23rd Street and Alabama Avenue Southeast. 4 shooting victims were located on that scene, 3 adult males and a 2-year-old young girl. Unfortunately, despite life-saving measures, 2 of the men, 29-year-old Lamont Street of Capitol Heights, Maryland, and 50-year-old Jermaine Proctor of Southeast D.C., were later pronounced dead. The 2-year-old girl and a 3rd man were treated for their injuries, and thankfully, both survived this incident. Our team immediately got to work combing through the evidence to track down the suspects responsible for this senseless shooting. Our investigation quickly revealed that the suspects arrived in a vehicle, exited the vehicle, and opened fire on the men who were standing near the intersection. The 2-year-old girl and a group from a nearby daycare were unfortunately caught in the crossfire. The case was immediately assigned to our detectives at the Homicide Branch. Our detectives quickly pulled and analyzed surveillance images and followed up with community members, generating leads and narrowing in on a suspect. Our investigation progressed thanks to their tireless efforts. Earlier this morning, members of our Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force located 25-year-old Andre Green of Southeast D.C. Green was charged pursuant to a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant with first-degree murder while armed for his role in this shooting. We would like to thank our community for their assistance with this case. We know that the brazenness of the suspects in this case shocked the community, and we appreciate their cooperation with our investigation. I would also like to recognize the lead detective on this case, Detective John Pugh, and his partners at the Homicide Branch Squad 1 for their dedicated work on this case. We know Mr. Green was not the sole suspect responsible for this shooting, and we continue to work to hold other suspects accountable. I would like to remind the public that anyone who may have information that can help us with this case should call us at 202-727-9099, or they can text us anonymously at 50411. Thank you, and we'll now take any questions.
Do you have a motive in this case why the shooting took place? Premeditated, so we're talking about it.
Yes, so I will say that this investigation is still ongoing as we have outstanding suspects, so I'm not going to get into the specific details of the crime. There are several, but I'm not going to go beyond that.
Take us back to that day. I remember there was some reports about 2 different cars. I think one car, there's like a getaway car. There's another car somewhere parked up the hill. I'm not too sure. Suspects got out, fled, and hopped in. Can you take us back and confirm what actually happened there?
So there are details surrounding 2 cars. Some of that information was released, and I know some of that information is out there in the public. I can confirm that we have 2 cars involved in this. However, the details specifically related to those 2 vehicles and this shooting investigation, at this point in time, I'm not going to get into right now.
So is it fair to say those 2 cars are suspect vehicles? Like you're looking into both of those cars, correct?
We recovered 2 cars with this investigation connected to this investigation.
Can you say if Mr. Green was target of the shooting? I'm sorry, not Mr. Green, the 2 people who were killed, Lamont Street, Jermaine Proctor, were they the targets, or they happened to also get caught in the crossfire?
So that specifically is hard to say. A group was targeted. At this point, it's unknown individually who in that group may have been targeted, but we know that some of the individuals out there were in that group.
Was this person, did they see the child, or was the child was still more of a stray bullet situation with the child, or do we know any more about that?
What person? The suspects?
The suspects in this case. Was the child still more of just an innocent bystander? Or?
Yes. So the individuals associated with that daycare, to include the child victim, were not with the group or near the group that was being shot at.
And the kids, they were out on the walk, to my memory, correct? They were, how many kids were there, what was happening, how did that 2-year-old get caught up in that?
So there was a group of children out there with the employees from the daycare early learning center that were on a walk, and they were all together. under adult supervision.
Can you say how you narrowed things down to Mr. Green, in terms of what led you to him specifically?
At this point, due to the fact that we have outstanding suspects and this remains an open investigation, I cannot.
We'll take two more.
So I had a chance to talk to the daycare owner in this situation. She talked about all these things she did to try to make her area safe, and she did at the time say she wanted more police presence because it's been hard to operate a daycare with what goes on around that area. What has been done since this shooting? Have you answered any of those calls from this daycare to beef up patrol, or what has happened?
Thank you for that question. I can take that. So absolutely. So the daycare center has had wraparound services since this occurred. And we had a very, very strong conversation with the daycare owner where we went into specifically what she would need to feel for the community and for those individuals to feel safe going forward. Additional patrols, services, therapy services for the employees. So really a whole of government approach to try to bring some calm to a chaotic situation.
So that still continues to this day.
So that was prior to the request. Those are the things that were requested, and that's what we granted.
I do have one more question. Can you confirm, I'm not too sure if you touched on it, where was Andre Green apprehended?
He was apprehended in Southeast within our 6th district.